Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. It is, well, it's 7:02 where I'm at, and it's, hang on a sec. There we go. 7:02 where I'm at. I'm on the West Coast. I'm an early bird, though, so I like getting up early. But 10 a.m. Eastern time, as usual, we're live, and it is April 15th, and we're halfway through. Somebody posted recently that it's the 100th day of the year, I think, something like that. I don't know why that became a thing, but anyway, if you're new or this is your first time tuning in, welcome in. Let us know in the comments where you're tuning in from. It's always fun to see where people are tuning in from and where they came from. We bring on a guest. Typically, we bring on a guest every single day. We'll talk about their experience. Their experience with our training, or their experience with creating content or setting up funnels, or basically turning themselves into a freelance digital marketer, how they did it, and if they've got any good tips for us. And I've been kicking and screaming about going live on social media for a long time. I feel like maybe at least a few months, if not 6 months or so. Just because I've seen the power of it and the ability to turn followers into customers by doing that is super powerful. It's been proven over and over and over again, and it just works. And so today we've got a guy from, I think, Georgia. Hope I'm not botching that, but a guy coming in from Georgia. His name's Phil, and we're going to bring him in. So everybody who's here, if you can give me a clapping emoji just to welcome him in with like a virtual sort of round of applause to welcome in Phil.
Hey guys. Hey Matt, how are you?
Good. Thanks for coming on.
Well, thanks for inviting me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
I can check
Cool.
I can check this goal off on my list.
Yeah, it's a goal for a lot, I feel like. And no, I got really excited when I saw the topic for today and what you were interested in talking about, because that's something that I always am encouraging people to do and to try and to figure out. And I'm really curious about just, how you went about it and everything like that. But before we get into like strategy or whatever, tell us a little bit about what you do for work and just how you found Legendary and what got you looking at Legendary, and
Okay,
how
no
do you
problem.
start your training?
Well, my full-time job is I run an HVAC supply house. So what that is where the guy that comes to your house and fixes your air conditioner, I sell him the parts and the air conditioner. So I've been doing that for about 19 years. That job was temporary because I used to be an IT guy for a while. So that was the temporary job that just turned into a full-time job. But that's what I do for a living now. Been there a long time, and found Legendary about June of 2021 by just flipping. My kids wanted TikTok. So of course, just like everybody else, I wanted to check out TikTok, find out what it was all about. And the first thing that comes up, of course, is somebody twerking in my face. So I, it's not too happy about that. But after 20 minutes of going through all of this, I did, how TikTok it'll just catch your eye for a little while.
Right.
But that evening, the first day, I just saw somebody talking in their live about a digital marketing umbrella of things, right? And which pretty much caught my eye, because for me, my whole life, I've always wanted to be somebody different, right? I've always had that Think and Grow Rich book in my back pocket. I've always had that burning desire to be somebody else, right? Not the norm. And I've tried things in the past. I've been, in the 80s, I sold insurance, right? And I was recruiting people and I was doing stuff like that. So, and I was hoping that this wouldn't ever be something like that. And I was so happy when I found out that Legendary was not. So, and was happy. It was, those were the weird days, did all that kind of stuff. Found, I was glad that I didn't have to put soap in my garage and try to sell soap for a living, and, and potions and things like that. But I've been through all of those things. I'm not a young chicken, so I've seen it all. And when I became across Legendary, at the first time I heard about it, of course, I just wanted to go out there and kind of figure it out. I went on YouTube, spent 2 weeks on YouTube trying to see how everybody else was doing it. And I just got more confused. So I just said, you know what? I just need a step-by-step process. I got to figure this out. I can't figure this out on YouTube. So somebody, the same gentleman I saw in his live, and went out there and I had a little, I saw him come out there again. And he said, just go take a look at this video and see what Legendary is all about. It gives you a nice little step-by-step process. And that's what I needed.
Yep.
And I started in June. And then in June, here's the funny part about this. In June,
Last year.
certain things had happened. My mother went in the hospital. My daughter needed some surgery. And I was going through the 15-day challenge. And I finished it, but I couldn't remember a damn thing because my life was just a little crazy at the time. So I went through it twice.
Okay.
Cool. And then, after I went through it twice, I really put my head down and just said, let's get to this. I really was interested. After day 4, I was like, man, I'm in. Let's just get this done. I know I can do this. And the training was just what I needed. Right. And I just put my head down and started going at it.
Super cool. Super cool. Man, so you've been in and around our community even for a while now. And yeah, that's pretty interesting because there's the longer I've been here, almost 4 years, the longer I've been here, it's kind of cool because a lot of these companies, they'll start up and disappear, like education companies. And I do feel like over time, it's kind of cool to see how people are sticking around and kind of staying, around our community. Maybe they'll come and go. Maybe they'll, disappear for a year and then, wow, hey, you're back. Cool. I haven't seen you in a while, it's a new thing for me too, in that way. And I've really enjoyed that. Well, cool. So you go on TikTok. Well, so how'd the transition go from signing in and girls twerking on TikTok to you suddenly making content on TikTok? How'd that go?
Well, my first video I made, I was on a vacation. I was at a friend's house, on the beach. And my first video was like right after my birthday in July, right? I started this in June, did something in July. Didn't know what the hell I was doing. I just went out there and just did a couple of videos and tried to figure it out. For me, if I do get that shiny object syndrome, I do get that fear of missing out. I do have a little bit of anxiety, and I want to get things done quickly, right? I want to just keep moving and moving and moving. And then, sometimes you get to the point where you're like, man, this ain't working. It's not doing, I'm not doing this well. Am I doing this right? Who do I need to talk to? And, I went through the Facebook community that Legendary had, and I talked to some people out there. I made some friends. I couldn't believe that I had a community of people, which I thought was my competition, say, they wanted to help me. And I just couldn't believe that. So I made some really good friends, people who were helping me. And I enjoyed that part of it. And then I really thought, at some point you have to get your head out of your ass and stop looking through your belly button. I hate to say that, but I mean, because when you look through your belly button, you can't see where you're going. So that's where I was for a little while. And then once I did that, I just said, you really got to get moving. I really had to start making a lot more videos. I really had to figure out how this thing works. And I went back, the thing about Legendary is I was able to go back into these videos and just go through it over and over again, just to help me relearn. Because look, I'm not a young chicken, like I said earlier. I haven't been to school in 35 years. So going back to class, especially online, was a little difficult. So, I'm not saying it was, some people have it easy. For me, it was a little hard. So I went through it twice, and I love having that login so I can go back there and go through it as many times as I want to. And especially that you guys update it all the time. And I was able to learn more stuff, especially with Pinterest and all the new things that are coming out. And I'm able to build my business on a lot more things as you guys update, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's super cool. That's super cool. And I do feel like, to me, it sounds like a lot of your motivation and stuff was like just sort of self-motivated. Are you kind of that like entrepreneurial type that just has that energy, or?
Yeah, I've always had the drive, but
Mm.
it's the outside world. Doubt will kill all your dreams. The outside world will always say that you can't do things, and the outside world will always pick on you, and because it's not the norm, right? I don't want to be normal. Normal is boring,
Yeah,
right?
agreed.
So I want to be somebody different. I want to be able to do the things that I've always wanted to do. You're only on this world like this. I mean, it's your life is a flicker. It goes too quick. And I want to be able to do what I want to be able to do. And a legendary has given me is the vehicle for me to get to where I want to be. So,
Damn. Yeah, that's super cool. One of your strategies that you mentioned in your questionnaire, and one of the strategies I see, well, you already talked about it, but is people going live. I'm curious, from the time that you started creating content, you got 90,000 followers. Like,
yeah, that's
there's only
nuts.
a small handful of people that I know and have talked to who have that many followers. Um, Going live, though, is a different beast than sort of creating 15, 60-second, bite size content pieces. It's a whole different animal. So one thing I want to know first is how many people showed up to your first live.
One, and she was a friend of mine.
Okay, great. Awesome. And the only reason I ask is just because everybody comes on to our and on Thursdays I do these business blueprint webinars, and I keep telling people, you gotta try out going live. You gotta try this out. You gotta try this out. And and people always comment about, there's only going to be one person on the live. There's only going to be one person. And I'm like, hey, look, everybody had their first day one. I had 0 people on my first webinar. Dave had 0 people on his first webinar. Like, there's no way to do it other than just to do it. But I figured, you probably had like 1 or 2 people max who came on the first
It
time.
took a while for that one to get in there.
Yeah, you're just
Uh,
talking to
I
yourself.
didn't know. I mean, I kept looking in the air. I was in my basement, and I had
Yeah.
my light, and I didn't even have a light or anything. I had like a just crazy looking light behind. It was very dark, and I didn't know what I was doing. I just talked. That's
Yeah.
what they say. They say just continue to talk, and I wanted practice, and I'd rather just talk to nobody and practice than to somebody and be nervous about it. But
Yeah.
I did it. I went through it. I did it, and I got better at it. I'd rather do a live, believe it or not, than than the TikTok videos. Believe it or not, I do the TikTok videos because I don't mind doing them, and I really like to get my word out there, and I really want to tell people how things are and be authentic, my authentic self to people. But for me, lives is an exciting. It's very exciting for me because I really want to. People to see who I am, really, kind of show my enthusiasm towards this whole thing. I love to be positive about it all. When people come on my lives, they tell me that, that I can explain things in a simple manner for them. And they thank me for being in there. I'm not trying to be, I don't want to say that I'm the best at it, but I really love doing it.
Yeah.
I do it twice a day, believe it or not. I do this at my lunchtime.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I go out at 1 o'clock in the afternoon during my
Wow.
lunchtime, and sometimes I'm stuffing my face, and I apologize when I do that. But I just want to answer people's questions at my lunchtime, and I let them know that I do it at night at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and I say, look, this is what I do at night. If you want to learn a little bit more about it, I go through a little bit of a presentation, a nice little webinar. I can teach you more about it, and just try to give people as much value as possible. And it kind of resonates with people. So. The thing about it is, when you go on these lives, especially me, I go on for 2-3 hours. I don't, I can't see how Baron could go on for 4, 5, 6 hours a day doing this kind of stuff. But I
Right.
can certainly see talking for that long.
Yeah.
And I do. And I go for about 2 hours, and I have to cut it down a little bit because I used to do it downstairs in my other office, and it's right near the living room. And my kids would be screaming and yelling and all that stuff. And my wife is like, "Man, look, you got to be with the family sometime." So then they moved me upstairs. So
All
I'm in my
right. Nice.
bedroom. I'm in my bedroom.
Nice. 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 That's hilarious. Um, Yeah, I feel like that's so fun. Dave tells this story about how his first webinar had like 0 people, and he had built it up big to his wife, and so he was like, oh shit, there's nobody here. I gotta present. So he's in the other room, and she's out there, and he's like, we got a packed house tonight, you know. Everybody got come on, you know, and he's just doing his thing, and it's a funny, but we joke about that, but eventually people start to show up, you
Yeah.
know, the more that you market it. And I feel like, so here's like a trend that I've been seeing a lot. Not just in our particular group of affiliates, but I've also in different e-commerce places too, which is kind of one of the things that sparked the idea for me initially to sort of look in. There's people like Calvin Hill. We had this guy Paul, who you mentioned. He presented one of our masterminds, calling it the micro webinar strategy, and you know, back in the day when you wanted to host a webinar, you signed up for a GoToMeeting or GoToWebinar account. You paid $100 a month to just be able to go live for nobody to show up to your webinar. And you're like, what in the hell am I paying this fee for? Nobody's going to show up anyway. And, you know, you'd have to sign in on a computer, and you'd have to manually, you know, admit people into the room. And it's just this crazy thing. People would do it. But now, I mean, it's just so easy. It's like, here's my phone, hit go live, and just show up for people. And what I find, let me return back to this. What I find really powerful and compelling to me is the fact that people who do that almost always, without fail, make more sales and more money than people who don't. Like it's pretty drastic. Like the rate of growth I see for people who do, I don't know if you do yours 7 days a week or 5 days a week. What do you do?
I try to do
70.
it as much as I possibly can.
It's crazy, but I feel like it doesn't seem crazy to me. I feel like that makes perfect sense.
Mhm.
Especially in the early days where there's so much evidence that it helps the algorithm build your channel. There's so much evidence as well that it helps when somebody see the difference between somebody seeing a 15-second clip and then them seeing you live is like night and day. You go from just this person who created a clip somewhere in outer space, I don't know who this person is, to now I'm in real time with them, and there's just something totally different about that. Um,
It
and
is. I mean, I
yeah,
find that too. I find that what I kind of do sometimes is I'll put out a video, I'll put out a TikTok about 15 minutes before I go live, and people that are in my following will see that, and then as soon as they see me go live, they'll just want to come back in, and plus I'll share out my live for a bunch of people that I have just met, or that have spent a lot of time in the DMs trying to talk to people, direct messaging people,
mm,
and I just keep telling them, look. If you want me to explain more, instead of me texting, man, my fingers hurt from texting people all the time. But instead of texting people, I say, look, I go live twice a day. You can see me at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You can see me at 7 o'clock at night, and I can explain things for you. You can come in and ask questions. You can email me with questions. I just want people to have as much access to me as possible, and be able to answer as much possible anything I can possibly answer for them. At any time. TikTok is a great form of, the algorithm is a crazy algorithm. I mean, I've gained over 60,000 followers in a month. So, I mean, that was nuts to me. It was just crazy. But like anybody says in the past, it's really not, and this is a tip for anybody, it's really not the followers, right? It doesn't matter how many followers you have. It's really, it's the quality of people that you're reaching. I
mm.
mean, it doesn't matter. I have a lot of the followers that are in there that I appreciate all those people that follow me, and it's fantastic. But you got to remember that some of the people that are in there just might not be your avatar, right? Maybe not be the people that are interested in doing what you're doing.
Right.
But it's nice to have those people, and maybe at some point they will be, and that's where the rest of your marketing comes in. So
Yeah, because I feel like, I feel like building that audience is one thing, and we've had a lot of people build big audiences and stuff, but finding the combination. So one thing that I feel like that I've seen you do super well, and I just wanted to commend you on this because it's hard to do, I think, is you've done sort of like a, I'll call it the perfect trio of sort of attention grabbing videos that are short. Some people would call them clickbait, but the truth is they're attention grabbing pieces of marketing. And then which are designed to build followings, right? They're designed to get lots of engagement, build followings, and help you grab somebody's attention when their train of thought is just moving, they're just scroll. I mean, you got to come in and hammer them with something that's gonna snap out of it. And you did that really well, and that's part of why your channel's grown so well. But you've also done something really well. You've the second part of the trio is you've mixed it up a lot with videos that are more personal. And so yes, you've got attention grabbing videos, but when people tend to do just the attention grabbing videos, it sometimes will hurt their channel because the people who are following them are like, okay, I get it, dude. Like, I get I can make money by typing, or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and they never actually meet you. So you did that. And then the third piece I feel like is going live. So, the way that I've taught this a couple months ago to our Blueprints members was I was like, you might have one or two of those attention grabbing videos. Maybe they get 20,000 views, 50,000, maybe 100,000 views or something. But you've got to be mixing it up with personalized content that helps them get to know you, or if not you, the business a little bit better. And then going live, I feel like, is that final piece that really takes people from, wow, that was kind of an interesting video. I'd never thought about, whatever. I never thought that I could train my dog just by watching an online course. That's cool. That's interesting. Maybe I'll watch a few more videos about dog training on TikTok. And then suddenly they watch a video about, hey, by the way, our dog training company, we have online courses or in-person courses, blah, blah, blah. And then suddenly this dog trainer is live with his dog and you're tuned in. And now, maybe you thought initially some of those videos were scripted and they were fake, or maybe he's not, maybe he's just making shit up about his ability to train dogs. And he's like, hey, this is our first lesson with this border collie. And this is the rowdiest dog ever. I'm going to show you how to train this dog in just 30 minutes. We're going to go live and I'll show you. And then it's like, oh my God, now I'm buying his course for $500 to train my dog, because it's all sort of come together. And I feel like that's kind of what you've done.
There's one video that I kind of open up personally about. I was diagnosed with anxiety years ago, right? And the story is, and I've told this story in my lives, is that I found myself laying on a bathroom floor, thought I wasn't going to make it till Christmas, thought I was having a heart attack, and went to the hospital. And throughout the night, I was apologizing to my wife, like saying, hey, I'm sorry, I haven't been eating well, maybe I'm going to be dying soon. Right. So eventually they came back and said, look, you just have anxiety, right? You just need to. And so long story short, I got on my TikTok one day and I just started talking about my anxiety and telling people that it's rough sometimes, and that it just takes a little bit of time to get over. And I've been able to accomplish different ways of dealing with it, and I kind of related it to my business, and I got more people talking to me and relating to me about their anxiety, and thanking me for opening up and letting them know about it, which not only did that, and not only let the people know who I am and what I am and what kind of issues that I might have in my life. It shows them that I'm a real person, right? I'm not just out there just talking to anybody about a business. And that brought more people into my lives, and it brought more people more personable and wanting to talk more about what I do. So
Yep.
it was helpful in that manner. And, I really kind of didn't mean it for that way, but I just wanted the people to kind of know who I was in certain parts of my life.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I thought this might be cool to put this up on the screen. I don't know if you can see this, but Kim just asked, when you go live, do the comments go really fast though? How do you keep up?
When I see comments go through, the first thing I do when I go on my lives, I just tell people, look, I'm going to go through a nice little training here. I'm going to talk to you about how this stuff works. And I'm going to go through everything. And if you have any questions, I'll be pausing at certain points through my live. And when I get to a certain point through my live, I will hear and I will answer some questions. You can certainly put some questions in there's a question box they can put it in, and I can look that way.
Yep.
Or you can ask those questions when I pause. If I missed your questions, I'm sorry if I missed your questions. I have an email address. You can certainly send me your questions through my email. But I'm here to train you, and if you have any issues about that, just ask me. I will certainly. It's not like I'm ignoring. I just tell people I'm not ignoring you. There's a lot of people in here. There's a lot of questions coming up. I might answer your question throughout this live as I go through it, so your question might be answered. But at the end, and I have 3 points where I can stop, and I'll even switch back and maybe answer some questions as I go through. But a lot of them are questions that I answer throughout my live, and that's kind of how I built the live a little bit, so that I know some of the questions that people are asking. So I kind of put that into my little webinar, if you want to call it.
Yeah, yeah, that's so cool. I like so for your flow and for your formula of what you do, like let's say over the course of 2 hours, is there an outline you do? Are you teaching people
Um,
certain things?
Look, success is copying people who are successful, right? So
Yes.
I watch all the successful people that do this, and Calvin Hill's one that I watch, and then there's Paul Griffith that I watch.
Yep.
Paul Live Free Paul Francis, so that I
Yep.
watch, and I've spoken to him, and he's been a great support for me. I
Cool.
watch Amy, Ayers, and she does a great live. So we're all collaborative. We all talk to each other, and we're all good friends. And they've helped me and supported me when I've been down and out. And these people are just wonderful at what they do.
Mm.
And I became more successful by watching what they do. And my lives are just built around that. And I put my own little flair in there, just like anything else. And everything, when I was, throughout the years, you figure out that everything has really been done already, right? Things have already been done already. You just got
Yes.
to find what's your way of doing it, right? And you just find the
Thanks.
successful people doing it, and you just make it your own. So that's kind of how I did this.
It makes total sense, right? So you take the principles of marketing, direct response marketing, figure out how to market to people, and then you bring in your own flair, you bring in your own kind of thing, whatever. You bring in your own personality, and once you get, I don't know. For me, it took a long time before I started doing lives. It took me a long time to get comfortable in my own skin. I think. I mean,
Yeah,
it was a sweat fest. My armpits were soaked, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is
yeah,
a
I know what that's
nightmare.
like.
Yeah, but I do really feel like uh, yeah, you touched on a few things. A great community of people who are super kind and willing to um, um, help anybody at any cost, really, which is pretty unique, especially in this industry. It's a really unique thing when people sometimes view each other as opponents or as uh, competition or whatever, and the people in our community don't really operate that way. They're really nice and kind and
They are, and I love them all.
helpful. Yeah, and I think it fosters that. The more that happens, it draws people like you who are drawn to that and also help people. And I think that makes a lot of sense. On your lives, when you one other question that I had that I thought on your lives, uh, especially in the early days, when you maybe didn't feel like you had all the knowledge or that it was all perfected or something, which I'm sure you still don't. I don't think really anybody does. But
No.
when you were first going on there, people always ask, "What the hell am I supposed to talk about?" I mean, what do you just pick out one topic and just kind of start talking about it and rant and then maybe answer some questions, or like,
Well, people, what I talk about, what I know about the most, and that's myself.
mm,
Right. So
yeah,
people know about yourself the most, right? So I sat and my first couple of lives were like, um, what my life was like before I started the 15-day business builder challenge, and what I was going through. And I would just say, I would talk about things like, I've always been the entrepreneur type, and I just couldn't find the right way of getting the vehicle to get me to where I want to be. I've tried this, this, and this, and this, and then all of a sudden I
mm,
came across this, and when I came across this, this is how it happened for me. And I would give general statements on that, and I'd go through the course and how it's helped me. And people will
yeah,
say, well, you just selling a course. And I just say, look, I'm just telling you what I'm going through. I'm not selling anything. If you want to sit here and listen to me, that's why I came out here and thought I want to talk about it.
right,
But people will ask me that, and I'm like, look, this has helped me. If it would like to help you, if you're resonating with what I'm talking about, it might help you too.
mm,
And that's how I started. And then as I went through and I watched other people do their lives, I kind of wanted to form my own little. I want to be able to teach people. I wanted to be able to be more. I wanted to be more valuable to people, because I saw a lot of people going into other people's lives, and I was like, how are they getting hundreds and hundreds of people coming in? I can't believe it. I've got two,
right,
and I don't
right.
mind. And I don't, I don't mind, and I don't mind listening to those two people. And in fact, I turn it around. I don't make it a negative thing. I just turn around and say, look, the less people that are in here, the easier it is for me to talk right to you, and we can have a nice little intimate conversation, and I can answer your questions right away. So it's not a big deal for me. It doesn't. I don't even look at the numbers anymore. I try to talk to like one person.
Oh yeah, that's a I've heard I've
It makes
heard
me less
many
nervous.
yeah, I've heard many people about speaking from stage and things like that. Hey,
Hmm.
just chat with one person, right? Like
Hmm.
just have a conversation. And Dave's really good at that, like at our masterminds and stuff. I mean, he's always just kind of talking with one person, and having a conversation with a single person is a lot easier than that. So
It is.
yeah, that makes sense. Do you with your how do you differ from somebody like Calvin? So Calvin does a lot with like crypto, and
Ah,
he's kind of like high end. He's just an interesting personality
he
because
is.
he's so skilled. I feel like his background and everything, he's kind of gifted in a way that's it's just kind of not fair, to the
No, I
the
know.
average
I,
Joe like us.
I my wife listens, because I listen to him at night while I'm laying in bed before I go to bed, and my wife is like, "Is that Calvin again?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's Calvin." And she says, "That's your man." I said, "Look, I like listening to the guy. The guy's so in. I mean, the guy knows so much. I learn so much from this guy. Although I like crypto, and the guy knows so much about that. I'm not into that yet. But when he does digital marketing, and he starts talking about digital marketing, and he explains it so well, and he just shows people how he's been doing it.
Yeah,
It just resonates. I I don't know. I mean, it's hard to for me. I know that eventually I will get there. I know that eventually that the more knowledge I get about this business, and the more knowledge I get from more people, and the more I stay into it and learn more, and the whole thing is just the more confident you get is how much more you learn about it.
yeah,
And that's how. I mean, that's with anything that you do. When you're a baby, it takes a little bit to walk, and when you start walking, you feel more confident, and then you start banging into things. So,
right.
it's just baby steps, and that was a huge baby step for me when I first got started, was doing lives, and I really wanted to perfect it, so I kept doing it over and over and over again, and I started doing it twice a day, and sometimes three times a day, and but I have to regulate life with my family as well.
Well, I feel like I don't know. You said I'll get there eventually. I mean, I don't know. I guess from my perspective, I'm just kind of like, dude, you're already there, man. Like
No,
I
thank you.
everything that I watch, and certainly your earnings and everything that you're doing with just uh the amount of money that you're making, and you're kind of just on a really big upswing in the last kind of month, I guess, and
Yeah.
just you're not just on the right track, but you're on an awesome track.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
And
that.
yeah, because I often struggle myself and with other people comparing to somebody like Calvin or whatever. I'm just like, look, guys, it's just not fair.
That
But
isn't.
also, you don't have to be Calvin. You don't have
No,
to
you
be
don't.
that guy. It's some people tune into his things and they genuinely don't like it. It's not their
Right.
thing, and that's okay for Calvin. It's okay for you. There's different audiences for different people, and you got to have some level of belief that there's an audience out there for you, and
Right.
yeah, you got to go find that audience, I guess.
Right. He's a master teacher, and he's master of what he does. Right. So, um, for people like me, I get to watch people like him and learn from him. So,
Mm.
like you said, everybody will come into their own. Everybody do their own thing. Then everybody, everybody doesn't like certain people. Just like this business is not for everybody. Right. So,
Yep.
um, for me, when I go out there lives, I tell people, look, I still have a 9 to 5 job, right? I'm not the guy that makes 10, 15, $20,000 a month. I'm just a regular guy, just like you. I do this business because it's a vehicle to get me to certain places of where I want to be in my life. I still do a 9 to 5. I work from 5 to 4 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon. I'm sorry, and so people resonate with that. I'm not going to blow smoke up anybody's ass and just say, look, you can do this and make millions of dollars in it. Because I just tell people, I even tell them in my lives that if you're in here and you think this is what it is, then you might as well leave, because I'm not going to tell you that this is what it is. And in fact, I scare some people away when I tell them that, look, it's a simple business model, but it's not easy, right? It's not
Yeah.
easy. It's going to take some work. And if you want to do this, it's just going to take some work doing it. So nothing that's worthwhile is going to be easy.
That's good advice. I'll leave you with the last word for everybody who's here. And this is typically the question that I ask, but Carlos asked it for us. He said, words of advice, Phil, for those just starting.
Just starting. I honestly think that you need to, and this is what I tell some people that are going through the 15-day challenge that I've talked to. You have to get your mindset straight. You really have to really think that you can do it. You got to take your blinders and get the people from the outside out, right? Get them out of your way, because those are the people who will kill your dreams. Doubt will kill your dreams. I said that earlier. And I really believe that doubt will kill anything that you want to do, that you can, if you believe in yourself, you can do this kind of thing, right? It's going to happen where you're going to fail. I failed 100 times. I continue to fail. I went through this course thinking that I wasn't going to be able to do this, right? But you have to keep picking yourself up and moving forward. If you keep the confidence within yourself and you just keep failing forward, that for me, 75% of this business is up here, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's all up here. And once I get past that, and like I said earlier, if you get your head out of your butt and just move forward and keep the goals in your lane, and because you got to have those goals, because if you don't have your goals, you're going to keep driving around a block and you're not going to get anywhere, right? You got to have a place where you're
Yeah.
going. So keep those goals in line. My whole goal when I first started this, and it still is I want to get my wife out of her job, right? Although now she has changed her mind, because she likes her job, but earlier in the beginning she didn't want to be there. But my goal is to kind of try to get her out of her job, and my goals are get my investments funded and all that kind of stuff, and those are my little goals, and those are the things that I keep in mind. And I have little things on my mirror, right by where I brush my teeth, just to remind me of how things that are going to keep me positive for the day and keeps me motivated. So the only person that's going to keep you motivated is you, really. My wife is very supportive, but you really have to keep yourself motivated to move forward and believe you can do this.
That's awesome. And I like hearing that kind of stuff from somebody who's successful. as opposed to, somebody who's just, kind of doing this and doing that. And I don't know what I'm doing, but, think and grow rich,
Yeah.
I like that, to me, it's always really, it carries a lot of weight, and it feels really inspiring to me when it comes from somebody who's like really going after it and making waves. So
Well, thank
that's
you.
really cool. I appreciate that.
I appreciate you.
We're gonna put up your TikTok and Instagram here for people to go give a follow. And man, please reach out in a couple months, and we'd love to have you back on the show.
I sure will. Thank you so much.
Cool. Thanks, Phil.
Thanks, guys.
See ya. All right, guys. So what I would do if I were you is I'd go follow this guy on TikTok immediately. It's Make Money with Phil, and I would go watch his lives. And if you're on TikTok and you're listening to this and you're like, oh, I can't go live, I don't know, it's so scary, I would go watch his lives, and I would rewatch this episode where he talks about, my first live, there was nobody on for quite a while, and then one person came on, and it was my friend, which is the same story for everybody. And sometimes that feels overwhelming, and it feels like, oh my God, what would I ever do? But the truth is you can have fun with it. You can just, hey, it's not a big deal. It doesn't say anything about you. It just says you're getting started, you're figuring it out. And so go give him a follow, and then make sure to let him know, hey, I saw you on Wake Up Legendary. That was a cool episode. Tell him something you took away from today's episode, but lift him up and give him some support. And, next time when you're on the show, and you're the up and comer and you're killing it, Phil's going to come over, plop on over to your profile and give you a follow back. And, that's the way for communities like ours that support each other. And so make sure to give him a follow. Make Money with Phil. It's on TikTok. It's on Instagram. Give him a follow on both. And we're going to be back here Monday. I believe Dave will be back on Monday, but no guarantees, I'm pretty sure. And take it easy, everybody. Peace out. See you.